Everybody, welcome to the August critique. This is critique number 4, and we hung up from the last critique last time in July, and oh my gosh, we were
Janice
just...
is in here. Hi, Janice.
Hey, Janice, I'm so glad you made it.
What?
I'm so glad
and
you
Rick.
made it.
I made it.
Rick, sorry, buddy. I didn't see you, man. I just clicked that little blue arrow on the right to see who else was in here. Sorry.
No worries. How you doing?
Good, man.
So we enjoyed the July critique last month. We just, it really made us fall in love with this whole idea of sharpen your shutter even more, just going through your images and just the camaraderie and the community. And we had so much fun that we looked at each other and it was like this was a breath of fresh air for us with just what we do. It's just such a intimate way to stay in touch with and connected with you guys and helping you grow. So we loved it. We hope you did too. What we've got going on for tonight, we've got some news. We're going to do our member shout outs. We've been doing that, having a lot of fun with that. I've been stalking your all's profiles and keeping track of what you're doing. We'll talk about the August assignment, the September assignment. We've got an August wow photo. That's something new. We also have a leaderboard that we're going to mention, which is new, and then we'll get right into the critique. So we will go through this step by step. The first bit of news is that SYS is going to become official. It's going to, I don't know that it'll go public per se. We'll probably release it to another larger group starting September 1st, but as we had mentioned, the payments will kick in September 1st as well. Some of y'all may need to go back in since we changed the system and re-enter credit cards, but wait to get an email from me on that. We're going to kind of see how that needs to play out because the old system will have been what had your credit card, and that's been deleted. So you might need that you have to go back in there.
We'll figure all that as it comes along.
Yeah, there'll be an email on that, more to come later. We will be introducing some new members, but we're going to do this kind of in a measured way. We really love the group size right now, so we're going to kind of slowly bring people in, and we're going to make sure that it doesn't get too big so that we don't lose the community and the tight-knit, because we're really loving it. The member shout out. Well, we're going to start with the Olympic Peninsula trip and talk about those people who are in the community who went with us. One is Addie. These are a couple of images that Addie got from the trip. This one, particularly here on the right, was amazing because
look at those.
She had that shaft of light coming from the rock. It was incredible. It was, that first night at Ruby Beach was simply amazing. So she did really good. Idea. Yeah, I grabbed this from her profile. He didn't make it on that one due to stupid car issues. Carolyn, this is what Carolyn got. She loves the ghosting of these people, and this is also from the kind of that same area. So this is what Carolyn had, which great job on that, Carolyn. ROJ.
Look at him.
Look at him. This is after he did a trek to photograph this picture and others, and then he immediately goes and finds a bench, and he starts editing, and we loved that. So that was amazing. And then here's one of the whales he got.
OJ?
Yeah.
Hey, the one that you got with the light coming in from behind the tree, have you posted that anywhere yet?
No, because it's 3 different exposures with light, and I want to pick the right pieces out of them. And
amen. I'm with you. I just wanted to make sure, because if you did, I wanted to go to wherever it's posted and see what kind of reaction you did get.
Okay.
I looked for it and I didn't see it. There's just a fun group shot. So we just had those 3 from Sharpen Your Shutter. We were sold out, which was great, but these are the 3 guys that were with us from Sharpen Your Shutter. So there's a picture of 2 of them. We had a couple fun things to mention for our member shout-outs. Jim Payne, who's a member in here, he hasn't come to any of our critiques yet, but he'll hopefully see this. He went out to the Southwest with his daughter, and so he had a great time. He actually texted me this image, which was just a simple cell phone shot while we were getting in the plane to go to Washington. So, Jim, we hope you had a great trip.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that one.
I was stalking to see what else y'all were doing. I stumbled on Rick Sanford's page and was scrolling back through his stuff on his professional page, and I saw this and started to get itchy for cooler weather and starting to get some fall colors. So I grabbed this, and Rick said, just to say thank you for posting that. I love that picture, and I am super eager for fall. Gosh, can't get here fast enough. Mandy, you did great with this. I was stalking your page as well, and I thought that that was just a beautiful photograph. So I wanted to give you a nod on that one. It's not one we've seen in Sharpen Your Shutter. Yeah, she's so fun. And then Lucy, I just found this out. Lucy's going to Cuba in November. So Lucy, you lucky duck. Have fun. I can't wait to see what you get there. That'll be
I'd love to see all the
great
old cars.
And then Janice, I was stalking your profile too, and I found this over here, and I absolutely thought this was just a beautiful photograph.
She shot that?
Yeah.
I shot that with my cell phone.
Are you serious?
I want to paint it, so I wanted to pull it in here and say, "Way to go! That's a gorgeous image."
Janice, your eye, man. I swear, it's gotten better and better and better. That's cool. That's a cool shot.
So, for just FYI, if y'all are going to be doing something fun or you're traveling and you don't put it on social media, because I stalked every single one of your all's pages. So if there was something going on that you had made public, I was grabbing it and pulling it from the member shout out. But if you got something going on, let me know so that I can put it in the member shout out so everybody knows what's happening in the community. So just shoot me an email or shoot us an email would be awesome. The August assignment was Light That Leads. So we had a couple images sent in. This one from Janice, which I thought was really beautiful. Janice, you did good work in pulling your light all the way back here into your vanishing point. So that was really well done.
Good line leading right to it.
Yeah, beautiful line. So that was a great submission for that. This one is by Mandy. Mandy, you did a great job too with Light That Leads. It's kind of pulling you right back. Somebody docking their boat at sunset or bringing it in for the night.
Wow.
It's beautiful, beautiful sunset. This one is from Mo. Mo's also has her vanishing point. Y'all have the vanishing points pulling the light down here in the back, which is brilliant. That's exactly what you're needing to be doing. So great job on that one as well. And then this one, I think this is Rick Sanford. And Rick, I am so in love with these clouds. And is this a sunset?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I love that. So that one for the Light That Leads. This one was from, this made me laugh so much. This is from Lucy. And she's like, he just was like light. So there's another black, if you guys have been in the community and the activity page, she also has another one where this guy's just laughing. I mean, how can you not smile at that? It's a duck with a goose with a man.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And then this one is from OJ from the trip. So well done, OJ. That is definitely a good one for Light That Leads. The September assignment that we'll be focusing on is selective focus. You can get as creative as you want with that. It will be posted in the sideboard of Sharpen Your Shutter, so look for that. If you've got questions, let me know. Again, with your submissions for the assignments, we don't critique those. So you are more than welcome to submit your assignment as the critique, but those are separate. But we do want to talk about them and mention because it's just a fun challenge to have, and hopefully it will help you grow as you're trying to be intentional towards the assignment. The August Wow photo, this one was posted in Sharpen Your Shutter in the community, and this one was kind of tucked in among 3 other images. Mandy did this one, and I just thought that this was so pretty. It was just so beautiful. And so this one was just the wow photo, and I want to just give Mandy a big shout out. We've seen a lot of growth of Mandy, and that makes me and Keith really happy. So great job on that. And then this is a fun new addition. This is the August leaderboard. Number 1 for points at 907 active points is Mo. Great way to go, Mo. And then we had a really close second and third tie. In fact, it might even be different at this point right now, but it was between just a couple of points away between David and OJ for the activity in Sharpen Your Shedder. So,
Well done, guys.
yeah, way to go, you guys. All right, Keith, are you ready?
Yeah, gang, just so you know, I haven't seen any of these. So, babe, you're probably,
You want me to go first?
yeah, and just to give me time to kind of soak them in, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go through it. Okay, so this is the first one. And when we're going through the critique, we don't mention who submitted it. So just because we don't want to embarrass anybody, and for those that are shy, that's okay. Okay, so for this one, I think the first thing I'm going to look at is I feel like there's a couple things that are pulling me out. The composition is so pretty. I mean, I just think it's very delicate. I just think it's a really pretty. It's got great depth, but a couple of things that I think I would probably change. Now, Keith will probably disagree because that's what we do, but I would almost look at maybe kind of cropping it off right up here. I would probably crop it off right here. The only reason why is because kind of up here, this is really pulling me out. And I don't know that you'll be able to save the pixels and take the blues down here. I don't know that you can get it down to a level where it's not competing with everything else that you have going on. So I'm almost going to recommend it. And these are some of this is slightly out of focus. But I love the movement of the tree, so you don't really want to lose this. That bend is beautiful. So I'm almost thinking chop it kind of right here. Yeah, I think that would be beautiful. So then the other thing that you're going to want to really probably do is, if you have not watched the video on adjusting the hues of targeted colors, I want you to watch that video, because I want you to be able to go and pull some of these blues and these aquas back just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And then I think what you might be able to do is I would probably put a little bit more shadow kind of in this area right here, painting with light. I like this vignette that you have here in the light that's leading back to this. But I think maybe just dodging a little bit more shadow, kind of just a smidge back in this area, will really help this a lot. But I think it's so pretty. This definitely has, you could really do something very, very special with it. But I think bringing down that top is going to substantially help it, because it's just my eyes just bing going right to the top. So that's the biggest recommendation I have for this one. What about you, babe?
I think the cobalt up there would work if the space up in that right corner and in the left corner weren't so dark. I think the blue in the clouds would work if there wasn't such a contrast between such dark and light differences there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I can see that there was a vignette put in place, and there should be. But I think, in my opinion, it's maybe a little too heavy in all four corners. And I think by that upper right-hand corner, if that wasn't so dark, it might not be competing with the sky, therefore not making the sky so bright to where it is kind of dragging your eye away. Just an opinion, though. You know, typically, and this is me now, and Tiff and I both experienced this when we were in Washington. She would point something out to me, and I'd say, no, there's too much light coming through there. She would want to shoot it, but I didn't. So, it all goes back to whatever it is, whatever you find that you want to shoot, please do. But you still have to think about distractions. And those distractions can be, non-existent when the photo's taken. But if you push a photo too far or in the wrong direction with a certain tool within post, then you can create those distractions when it didn't even exist to begin with. So I'd just be super careful with the vignetting for sure. It definitely needed to be put in place. I think it's just a bit too dark. Also, and it not being physically standing there where the shot was taken, man, I love that freaking trunk on the left.
Oh,
and it
pretty.
looks like, it might be pretty hefty. I can't tell. To open the lens up just a little bit more, to grab a little bit more of that, to create, kind of give you a framing effect. It looks like there could have been a little more tree on the right side that could have been grabbed too. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I'm really digging that texture on the trunk and the way that it's leaning and all that jazz on the far left side. If there was more to grab, to maybe just open the lens just a little bit more and really add to the natural framing. You know, guys, what do you do with a print that you hang on your wall? You print it and you frame it, and then you hang it on your wall, right? Well, it's because the framing effect is just making that image aesthetically pleasing. So if you can find that in nature as well, it has the same effect. It can kind of frame in, you know, and really pinpoint the focus of the subject. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it really finishes it. So just a word to the wise, just watch this right up in here. Do you see where we've got the lighter tones and then it goes darker? So that's going to want to be something that you're careful of. One way to get around this would be if you want to have a vignette, which is a brilliant idea, especially for this, because you've really drawn us back into here, into the back, is paint it off. Make a mask. So put your vignette on a nick, and then make a mask, and then paint this off in a mask layer. And then that'll really help.
And you don't necessarily have to take it off at 100%.
No.
You can do, you know, whatever opacity you want. Just, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shot.
It's just a really delicate composition. I really loved that. Okay.
All right, I did see this.
Yes, you did.
I didn't realize this was going to be part of the critique. Can I go ahead and grab this one?
Please.
Okay. I don't see a whole lot wrong with this. All right, your turn. This is, man, it's, you know, and I'm not even, as you know, coming through this online critique, they don't come through just super tack sharp. They probably do to Tiff because she's the one that's got the reins there. But man, there's just not too much that's wrong with this one. I mean, the lines are beautiful. The placement of the bench on the right is beautiful. The colors are beautiful. It's so well exposed. It's just a beautiful freaking image. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I got almost nothing on this one too.
It's just beautiful.
I guess the only thing I would say is, I mean, I don't know. I'm really just having to find something to be picky about because it is just so perfect. The composition is so spot on.
It is. The exposure is awesome.
Yeah, it's great. There's detail in everything. So honestly, okay, so now that we're going to go next level and get really, really, really picky, go ahead and get rid of this right over here. Just this tiny little thing to the very, very far right.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah, maybe get rid of that. I don't know that I would do much more. I mean, I don't know if it would be possible to do you'd almost have to luminosity mask this, but where you've got the white here and the white, you could take that more to a gold, so it's not just a white light, but it has more of a gold, so it matches more of the tones down in here, and it'll balance it.
Yeah.
That might take it next level. But, I mean, really, how picky you want to be. I mean, this thing's beautiful, so.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, way to go.
Hey, Tiffany.
Yeah.
When you talk about taking out that little spot of that light on the wire right on the edge up there.
Oh, up here?
Bridge, would you just bring that border in enough to take out that bottom light too? Down on the,
Yeah.
I wouldn't, because that would bring your right side closer to that bench, and you want to leave that breathing room. I'd go over there with the healing brush or the cloning tool and use the pixels. See how the pixels up above it that are black, solid black?
Yeah.
I would use that information up there, probably with the cloning tool. You know, take it way up the right side there, and then come down and just paint that in and get rid of the light and the glowing around the light altogether.
That's a really, really, really good question, OJ. So thanks for asking that. I actually, I looked at this down here when I was saying that. This one doesn't bother me quite as much because there's also this one. So I feel like that's giving me perspective of something being down a little bit further. So that one didn't bother me, but this one looks like accidental. So anything that looks accidental in your images, you're going to want to try to get rid of that.
Right. As soon as I asked that, I thought, if you take that then that bottom corner is going to be too dark and not interesting enough. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It gets rid of a whole lot of depth there in that bottom right corner too.
Yeah.
Plus, it just and the breathing room that you would lose not only to the bench, but that light that's up near that spot you would be getting rid of. You'd be bringing your edge right up to the globe of those too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That breathing room's important for
Yeah.
sure.
And also
Good question, OJ. Good
yeah.
question.
You've got where, did you already say this? You have where the bridge ends over here too, so you're really not going to want to, you're not
Yeah,
going to want
that's
to
a good
lose
point.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great image.
Beautiful image. Oh my gosh. I love this.
Wow.
You need to paint with light on this one, like paint with shadows, because
Paint with shadows.
this could
Paint with
go so
shadows.
next level. Okay, so this is a brilliant, this would be such a good instructional video on taking a really good image and making it bomb.com next level by
Don't ever say that
painting with
again.
shadow.
Don't ever say that again.
Bomb.com painting with shadows.
You've been saying that for 5 years now.
Okay, your light is perfect. So you've got beautiful light up in here. The water movement is gorgeous. This down here is pretty with the weeds that are kind of going in. I mean, I love everything about this. But you need more shadow. And if you just paint in shadow where shadow exists, so I'd paint it here, kind of down around in here, right in like this, down here a little bit so that this is a path now. And then give this a little bit darker, just paint in with your shadow, and then some in a really small brush, and you'd need to magnify it. Give this some where the shadow already is, give that a little bit more, and then do the same thing to the trees. This would be even better. It's so good.
All right.
Gorgeous line.
Here's a really, really easy way to, and Tiff and I were talking about one of her images before we started this about shadows and whatnot. So, and very much kind of the same application. Yes, everything about this image is just wicked good. That line is beautiful. The depth is beautiful. The sky is beautiful. Composition's great. To a really easy way, super easy way to add shadows to this, where shadows already exist, just to intensify the shadows, is grab your burn tool and then go up in Photoshop, go up there to the far left where you can choose either shadows, midtones, or highlights, and choose shadows. Choose shadows and then put yourself at like 5%, maybe even 3 or 4, and then just start brushing over everything. Honestly, if you really want to intensify areas, then stay highly concentrated in those areas with your brush. But what that's going to do when you choose shadows, that's only going to darken the already shadowed areas. So you don't have to if you don't want, you don't have to get in real deep into your image and start working these really fine cracks and crevices. You can go over it kind of globally, and it's going to fill those spaces in while not heavily applying it to the other spaces within the image. And man, that's all this image needs.
Yeah.
It just needs some shadow work. And I tell you, after you do some shadow work, put a vignette on there.
Yes.
And my Lord.
Be careful
honestly.
that your vignette doesn't do too much more to this, because
Yeah.
it already looks like there is
Yeah.
a slight vignette. So go really, really, really delicate on your vignette, and then post it back in Sharpen Your Shutter, because I want to see it.
Yeah. Please do.
Because this is so beautiful,
Hey,
gorgeous.
When you're talking about using the shadow and the burn tool and just real light, you can just use a huge brush on that, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. You absolutely can, but be careful with that. And you'll see once you start brushing it on there, you'll see how it's applying to the image. And OJ, it's just going to depend on what you have, what the image contains. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, you don't have to get stupid precise. A tiny brush and get in cracks and crevices. You can have a decent sized brush, and as long as you're at a low opacity, just brush over it,
Right.
And it will affect the shadows that already exist. It just starts to intensify. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
Good
just
question.
so it doesn't confuse everybody, that is not how I do it. So you can do it Keith's way, but how how I've taught it in some of the other videos, and this is right too, is I do get in there with a Wacom tablet and I make the tiny adjustments, and that is okay too.
Everything you do is right. I promise. I'm not
Listen,
going against the grain. I
No,
swear.
both of them are good ways. I just want them to know that
That's
you
right.
can do both things so it doesn't confuse anybody. But
Yep.
what is so fun about this, and like Keith was mentioning, is if you guys saw my image, The Secret Place, which I had popped it up a couple ones ago when we were talking about the Olympic Peninsula, I was so happy with where that image was. I had even posted it on social media, and I said, I am done. Like, that is that image. And I walk in, and Keith is messing with it. And at first I was riled up and we were going to have
I
a
don't know what you're
marital
talking about.
battle. But then once I stepped back and had an open mind about it, I saw that what he was actually doing and giving me even more shadow with some of my spots was actually making my light more directional, and it took what I thought was already good and making it even better. So there's always room for your husband to be right about your images and for feedback and keeping an open mind and sometimes letting it incubate for, a couple days. Keith and I both let it just incubate and come back to it and look at it with fresh eyes regularly. So
It sounds like it would be really fun to find an image that's kind of like that one that's and just needs little tiny things,
yeah,
and try it both ways and see which one you like best.
exactly. And I've
Yeah.
done that. In fact, working on the images from our trip, OJ, I actually completely processed something, sent it to Keith, and he was like, I don't really like this and this. So I scrapped the whole thing in anger and then
Oh, she was so
re-edited it.
frustrated.
Redid the editing all over again. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to start over, and that's just part of art. This one is amazing. This one needs a little bit of directional light, and it will, wow. So what I would want to do is you're always going to want the brightest spot to really be on the animal's eye. So I would do a light and dark in center, and I would drop the light right here on its face. Because right now, when you squint, all you have to do is squint at an image, and it'll tell you what is the brightest thing. It's on that tail. That tail
Yep,
and this bit
the
over
tail
here.
and that hind leg.
Yeah, and the
Yep.
hind leg. And this is beautiful, but you really you don't have to do very much to this image. I mean, it's the white balance is perfect. It's very natural. I love the natural feel of it. But do a dark and light and center, drop it on this guy's face right here. You might want to dodge his eyes just a tiny bit, just a tiny little bit, and maybe just do a little bit of very, very, very low opacity light painting just kind of around here just to accentuate his face, and that's all you really got to do. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with everything Tiff is saying. If you want it, and it's hard for me to see on this kind of pixelated version of what I'm seeing, but if you wanted to intensify those whiskers, you can very much do exactly what we just talked about with burning, but pick up the dodge tool. Pick up the dodge tool, go up to the upper left, choose highlights, and put it at 5% opacity or whatever, and just brush right over those. And it's not going to brighten the mud behind the whiskers. It will only brighten the whiskers. And those things will become more profound. So if you've got the whiskers glowing a little, you've got the eyes glowing a little, and then you put the center of your dark and light and center there, wow. But I mean, I agree with Tiff. This is beautifully shot.
Yeah. So maybe do those couple of things, post it back in Sharpen Your Shoulders because I want to see what this one's going to look like, and then you can submit it to Wild Planet because they will definitely publish that.
And those eyes are already beautiful. I can't imagine if they were brought out just a bit.
Yep, just a little bit. Great job, Janice. Okay, next up.
I caught that.
Yeah. Okay, so Keith, you want to start on this one, or you want me to?
It's a beautiful pano. No, let me soak it in for a minute.
Okay, so I
haven't seen
am
this one.
just doing a shot. So this is dead center, and I think he was probably, because I know the maker of it, I think he was probably intentionally leaving it dead center.
If I had to guess,
Yeah. So I mean, it's very symmetrical. So does it look a little noisy?
I can't, babe. It's pixelated. It's hard to see.
So I don't know. It could be just a file that I have in here, but double check to make sure that it's not pixelated and noisy kind of up here, whatever the image maker may have done.
It is extremely, extremely cropped.
It's
This is-
extremely cropped.
This is about 15% of the whole frame.
Wow. I would
Yeah.
love to see what that is. Okay, so yeah, so I do see a little bit of noise. David, did you run a denoise on this thing?
Probably not, no.
So you might want to try that. I mean, this is really beautiful. The clouds are gorgeous here, but maybe try a denoise just to get rid of a little bit of that back in there. But otherwise, I think you're great. I do think if you can, because the image itself has a lot of depth because we've got great foregrounds. We've got a vast canyon here. I would almost try to bring, if you can maybe bring this part down and then where the canyon drops down in here, because you miss this pretty easily. See if you could just bring this down slightly, I'm talking like fractions of a tone, very
Yeah.
lightly. This will then start to pop. Back here is amazing, but see all this depth that you have? Now, the only real kind of glaring thing that I'm seeing that could make this better apart from the noise is this right here just feels very flat to me. The fastest way for you to overcome that is going to be to go into here with a small brush and dodging in the crevices, because you're going to have to dodge it in very, very, very carefully, because the way that the light is hitting, most of that is lit. You just have to bring in some of the rock to pull it down so that it looks like the rock is coming in and out, so that there are a little bit more shadows. Like you can see that in here, there's the shadows.
Give the light some angle.
You got, yeah, just a little bit more angle. So if you can do that, in fact, it's pretty good over here. You could do it a little bit more, that I think would really take it to the next level, but it really kind of needs it over on the right here. Those are the two suggestions I have.
Yeah, and I really don't see anything outside of what Tiff has already said. I think I would really concentrate on this foreground, not the rock in front of us, but I guess the mid ground, and really making sure those cracks and openings become profound and not get washed into the rest of the terrain.
Well, and
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and in like
Because you can see raises, and
Yeah.
you can see where sections are raised and lowered and whatnot. Just a little bit of shadow work, a little bit of highlight work, and start really pulling some depth out of there and creating some difference between it and what's there in the background, for sure.
So, and I just noticed this, and I didn't notice it really until we've been sitting and looking at it. You actually have some natural lines that are going to pull you into the image here.
Mm-hmm.
They're just getting lost because if you push some of those darks down just a smidge and bring those lights up a little bit to get some difference, you could do that with light painting with a small brush. Then you would be able to pull this out, and I think it would even give you a greater sense of depth as well with this, and then add that into what we're talking about here and the shadows, and I think it might really, really help the image.
And I mean, even a very tiny microscopic adjustment in a curves layer may,
Yeah.
to a really, really good start.
Yeah, that's so true.
Just to start separating the two. Yeah. Cool image.
Awesome. This one's fun. That light painting was really, really well done. So the couple, did you want to go ahead with this one, or you want me to?
No, go for it. I haven't seen it. Let me soak it in for a minute. Please.
So I love that your light painting was good in that it's not too much. I mean, it's not overpowering. So I think that was really, really good. The only thing that I would say is go back in your files, because I'm going to bet you did this multiple times. And it might be that you can get rid of this hard line, and you can go back in where you've got files that you are not crazy about for water movement, or it just didn't look right. Like this was the best one for the waterfall itself. What I would do is I would try to, as long as you didn't move your tripod, put one on top of the other and then paint in, or, oh darn it, or go ahead and just bring back a little bit more, just a little bit more detail so that the ridge here, so that you're not having such a harsh line just on the waterfall. Because the sky is gorgeous. I mean, that sky is just dynamic. And I really love the dip that you've got going on here.
Yeah.
Like, this is all beautiful. So the only thing I think that could really, really improve this is bringing out and giving us a little bit more perspective as to the ridge, just ever so slight. I'm not saying take away from what you've got going on here, just allow it to be supported with just a little bit more detail here so it's not such a hard line.
Very much like a fade to black kind of situation, making it, the waterfall the brightest point and just kind of having it fade out from there, because that silhouette is awesome. That sky is awesome.
And you know what? I'm sorry, hon.
Go ahead, babe. What were you going to say?
Yeah, the only other, if you don't have another image where it is softer over here, you know what you could do is duplicate this and then pull your shadows back and then put that on top of this and on top in a layer and then mask that in. Yeah. You could do that with your same image. I hope that makes sense. But that would be very easy way to kind of add in a little bit more there.
If there's detail in there that's pretty dark, there may not be any detail in there.
Right. And you watch for noise.
Hopefully there's another file that has some detail in those darker areas.
Where he was actually pointing the flashlight.
I'm sorry?
Where he was pointing the flashlight. Where the flashlight was getting pointed.
Or even earlier in the evening. Yeah. Before it got dark, if you were set up that early. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Gorgeous blues.
The sky's wicked.
Yeah. I know this spot. Okay. Babe, you want to go first since you know this spot well?
Lake Louise. Lake Louise. Boy, that sky, that blue is beautiful. All right. Simply because I know what's there, I can look at this with a familiar set of eyes. And this place is, I mean, you can set up the shot that everybody gets and get at the very end and shoot straight down the center, and even at sunrise, this place is difficult to get a good sky with. It just is.
Because you see this cloud right here, it is always there.
There's always a freaking big cloud there. Always. It doesn't matter what time of day. There's always a big cloud right there. And boy, can it be frustrating. Especially when you have all these beautiful colors happening around you and you just get this one little sucked in spot for the exact location that you're trying to shoot. The line's beautiful. You fall onto that boardwalk and follow it right. It curves you right back into the mountains, into the canoes, into the mountains, takes you right back there. Time of day would probably be my biggest critique on this one. And the only reason that I say that is because of the shadows that are being cast on the dock area. That and when I say the dock area, the dock, the canoes, and the railing that leads to the dock. If I had to guess, this is probably, well, that's still pretty early in the morning, I would think, right?
I would,
Babe, what do you think?
Yeah, if I had,
the sun rises right behind you as you're looking
like
this
the
way.
light's coming about here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're probably right. Kind of up over your left shoulder. Something that I can say this just because we're familiar with this location. What I do like about this scene and what tends to be introduced quite a bit, but it just makes sense, and it's a really good anchor for this image, is the boathouse.
Mhm.
Is that boathouse. If you are back a little further, you can include that boathouse. There's also just a few feet from you to your right from where this person was standing, there is some foliage that you could even use to put in your foreground. There's a lot to work with on this end of the boardwalk for sure. Really, I mean, the sky is beautiful. The composition's good. It is. It's really good. I think I would introduce a little more of the boathouse, and then just the time of day, just simply because of the shadows that are being casted on that dock area. The reflection's beautiful, and you're even picking up a lot of that glacier silt in the water with all that turquoise up there on the right hand side. Composition's very good. Very good. I'm only saying these things just simply because we've been there multiple times and know what else is there. You know, very hard to be critical of this one, but that if I had to be critical, my biggest issue is just the time of day. Yeah. Now, that being said, see that reflection that you were just circling down there at the bottom? Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen unless you have all that light being casted on those peaks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the only way you're going to get that kind of reflection. And the fact that the water was still
how he's where the sun is. That's how he's getting this color here too, because it's going to be most dynamic when the sun is high for the turquoise.
Well, yeah, it has to be. The sun has to be hitting those particles for it to give that color. I absolutely agree. And the reflection, holy crap! The only way you're going to get that is if the sun is hitting what's on the opposite side.
Can I
again just being critical? Just honestly, is just the light on the dock area. Other than that, it's kind of hard to be picky.
Here's my thoughts on this one. I mean, is and I'll just be real frank, because this is the frank. If I'm not frank with the critique, then I'm just fluffing you up, and that's not going to get you anywhere. Is the style do I favor the style? Like, you were intentional with where you went with your processing with this. Like, this is an intentionally, this is a style, the processing of this. I'm not talking about composition, because the composition in my mind is perfection.
It's very good.
The line coming out of here, the vanishing point being slightly off center, but like over here, the boardwalk is coming and bringing me around. I mean, I know that this is a boathouse, but it doesn't draw enough of my attention that if I had never been here before, it would be distracting.
That's why I said I only say that because I know what's over there. So
exactly.
It's difficult. Yeah.
So I don't think you could have done anything different with composition. I think it's perfect.
I think it's very good.
I think that I respect it a great deal. So that's why I'm choosing my words very carefully, because I think that the way that this was processed with the style. The style's not my style, but you don't want my style. You want your own style. So, the very bold blue sky, was obviously substantially helped with the polarizer and then the processing. I think the only thing that I have that I would say I would maybe do, but this will keep with the style that you're kind of going for, is what I would probably do is I would look at these red canoes and go back to the whole color balance thing, make a new layer. I think that the person that made this uses Lightroom, so you'll still be able to do this. Don't worry about making a new layer. Go into your HSL sliders, your hue, saturation, luminance slider, and adjust your reds. If there's any fuchsia in this, which I'm going to feel like that there is, pull the fuchsia back and get this to be more of a vibrant red rather than this is almost turning pink. If you really look at this, see how this side is a good red, but this side is a fuchsia? If you could pull this back to be a red, I think that this would really pop this image, because now you've got really strong reds, really strong blues, really strong whites, and softer greens. And I think that the thing that's kind of like holding me back from saying, like, I absolutely love this is just the fuchsia of the boats. So that would be my only recommendation. Otherwise, I really like it. I really, really like it. It's a strong style, and so I respect that completely. That would be the only thing I'd have to say.
I love that blue.
Yeah, that blue's pretty great. Yeah, for sure. Wow, that was so fast. Guys, we're going to get you in and out of here in an hour. Yeah, that's it.
Record
So
time.
the next, which, I mean, an hour is great. Then we're not putting you in a snoozeville. The next critique will be September 20th. Mark your calendars. That very next week, and actually within a couple days of that, Keith and I will be on our way to Telluride. So we're going to really look forward to that. But September 20th is the next time we will be seeing you guys. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up on anything we saw? Or questions, comments, or news?
Please feel free to unmute and shout away.
So it can be questions on the critique itself, questions about Sharpen Your Shutter, questions about anything, or comments or observations.
Yeah, no question here. I just really appreciate the feedback on my images. It really helps to get somebody else's perspective.
Well,
Yeah, David, we're super proud of you, buddy. I mean, yeah, it's just amazing where you have come with your gift. We are super, super, super proud of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll work on them and post a couple of them on SYS with some improvements.
I can't wait to see them. Wonderful job, David.
Yeah, thank you for participating as always.
Anybody else?
Anybody else?
And I'll try to get some on there finally too from Washington.
Good deal. Can't wait to see those.
Yeah,
OJ.
we're really excited to see your pictures, OJ.
Yeah, you nailed so many. It was not even funny.
Yeah.
Super excited for you.
Thank you.
Anybody want to cuss at us or?
You mentioned about putting an image on top of another image. That's not the same as layer masking, is it?
Yes, it's layers.
Well, how do you put it in? Like if you have 3 different exposures, how do you stack them on top of one another and then erase what you don't want?
Well, just a real simple way is just open one of your other images as another file, another tab within Photoshop, and then select it, copy it, and then go back to your original tab and hit paste. And now you've got a second layer.
So, I think the part that you're missing, because I don't know that we've ever done this in a course, so this is going to be really important. What you'll want to do is you will then have that other image on the top layer. Make a mask, and then press Command-I, because that's going to invert your mask. So now all of a sudden you're going to see the image from below that you started with, not the new image you just brought in. You're going to see what you already had before. Then when you start painting in your mask, you're actually going to be bringing in that new layer, but just the pieces that you want. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so you're just inverting the mask.
Okay.
Command-I.
Okay. Got it.
Hey Keith.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do with that one with the tree in the rainforest and also the ferns.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's exactly what you need to be doing, OJ. Yeah, for what you have. Exactly. Yep.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Super images tonight, guys, by the way. I mean, in both the assignment and the critique, it's just so it's so rewarding, guys. It's so rewarding to see. I mean, even in this short period that SYS has existed, we've seen so much growth, and it's just nuts. And it's, I tell you, and I'm not going to take credit for anything. We don't need to be taking credit for anything. It's your ability to understand that it's a consistently growing kind of thing. And as long as it's just like anything else, the more that you do it, the better you're going to become. Keep in mind, as you are becoming better, that whole photography realm, that whole art realm is still growing with tools and methods and instructors and new locations and the whole
Technology.
nine. It's never, ever, ever going to become stale. And I think as long as you're hungry for it, you're always going to have a carrot dangling in front of you. But as long as you're eager and as long as you continue that hunger, you're just the progression we've seen. And I'm not kidding when I say this. I swear I'm not kissing anybody's tail here. Ask Tim. I typically don't do that.
Ever.
Honestly, though, everything we've seen, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
And yeah, and,
sorry.
And no. I was interrupting you. And just like we said a little earlier, I was asking Keith for, feedback on my images. And so I don't think you ever, as an artist, get to a place where you don't need that, because I think that we can get so emotionally attached, especially if we're spending a lot of time processing something or having to work on it. You can get so emotionally attached that when you get it to the place where it's good, you're ready to set it down and say, that was good, I'm done. And then having that feedback to come back in and say, but what if, and challenging you to say, okay, that's true. I mean, that was a hard pill to swallow today, but, I'm thankful that I have Keith that I can go. And so that's what we want to be able to do with you guys, is sharpen you and just support you however we can, so that it just keeps getting better and better and better.
And as we always tell you, and I promise, guys, I swear, and Tiff has been real good, and I swear this thing exists because of her. And I promise, I'm going to get to a point to where I can be in there consistently. I swear I will. And it's not because I'm slacking by any stretch. It's just we are that busy behind the scenes. I don't even know where the crap I was going with that now. Where was I going?
I don't know.
I'll just shut up. I'll just leave this conversation. I have no idea where I was going.
Thoughts.
Where was I going with that?
When you come back to it, let me know. So we're going to be doing.
I know what I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. Guys, don't, and maybe you have, and I just haven't been in there to see it. Don't wait until the critique if you need anything at all. I mean, I don't care what it is, and Tiff doesn't either. That's what we're here for. That's what this community is about. And that's what we're hoping that, we're hoping that this thing is going to be available to many for those reasons. Whole growth thing, it's just exciting. It's just exciting. It's exciting for us because we get to watch you. But man, we hope, we understand that excitement that you go through in building your creativity and beginning to understand different things and learning different things. And man, it's just good stuff.
Well, and Janice had a really, really, really good question that she had posted in the activity feed that we kind of had some dialogue going back and forth about, answering a question that she had about, about Photoshop and something that she had needed clarification on. And so that was really good conversation. By asking that, rather than emailing us, asking it inside, it's going to help everybody because they're going to stumble on it. So that's a really good place to have those types of questions. And so anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying Sharpen Your Shutter as much as we are. This has been our baby and my baby since January, and I love it, and it's kind of just with all you all and the growth we're already seeing and just the community, it's kind of everything that we were hoping it would be, and we've got some really fun things. Hey, while I have the 6 of you guys still on here, can I ask for, just as a show of hands or a yays or nays, how would you guys feel about a photo contest, a quarterly photo contest with some sort of prize? Keith and I don't have any desire to be judges of the photo contest because we don't want to be put in that position, but we're thinking about looking for brand sponsorship, which I think we could easily get. The brand would be voting on the winner of the images, but it would be 4 times a year. What do you all think?
Sounds like fun. I think so. Thumbs up for me.
Got 2?
Yeah, I'm not interested in competition.
Okay, that's good. Glad to get that. Anybody
I
else?
I think it sounds interesting. Certainly not more than 4 times a year, but 4 would be okay.
Am I missing?
Yeah, I think that'd probably be okay.
Okay.
Keith, did you chime in, buddy?
Yeah, I'd jump in on that. I think
Okay.
4 is plenty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Good.
it's, and for those that aren't interested in it, I get it, and I think Tiff understands too. It's one of those. It's a
I have a love hate with it.
yeah, big time, big time, and it's I completely understand. But hopefully, if something like this is implemented, we're hopeful that it's just going to be used as another tool that you can use for growth. And man, you can learn from instructors all day long. But I tell you, and I may have mentioned this before, going out on tours or workshops to I don't know, we'll say here in Charleston, go to a location that I've stood at 300 times, and I'll have a guest set up and shoot a composition that I've never even considered before. And this is somebody I don't even know, that has been shooting, I don't know, 2 years and whatever. And man, I just learned something. So there's it's another method. It's another method. If that's something that you're interested in, it's absolutely another method that can be used as a learning.
And we'll get a feel from the brands. Maybe we'll just do it even twice a year. It's never going to become a focal point of Sharpen Your Shutter, but for anybody who wants to maybe do it, maybe get some free gear is kind of what I'm hoping to.
And we've talked to some of the brands about introducing gear as part of a reward of some kind within this. So, if anybody has any ideas for situations as such, please feel free to shout out. I mean, we're looking for anything just to keep you guys interested, keep things fun, keep you guys engaged. And man, a little free gear wouldn't help,
Yeah.
I mean?
All right, everybody. If there's no other questions, we will let y'all go. We will see you in Sharpen Your Shutter and then here back for the critique on September 20th.
Okay, bye-bye.
See you
Hey.
next month.
Hey, love you guys. Thank you so very much for showing up. We appreciate your support. We appreciate the engagement, and we look forward to seeing and hearing from you every month. We do.
You all take care.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Y'all have a good evening. Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Good
Night.
night, Keith. Good seeing you, buddy.